It's Bourbon Night. Hello. Do not adjust your sets at home. This is not Sarah. Sarah did not get so hairy all of a sudden. It's
Yes, she
not
did.
an advanced werewolfism thing. This is actually not Sarah. This is this is Chad.
Hi, I'm Chad.
This is Chad and Chad. It's Chad and Chad Incorporated once more. If you're familiar with the show, if you watch lives, you may have seen Chad co-hosting for us before. This has just been one time?
Just one time.
Just one time.
Yeah.
Okay. But you can look forward to seeing him again, actually, in a produce piece for our 64 bourbons under $100. Those will actually be coming out fairly soon. I would say next week, actually.
Heck yeah.
So as that juggernaut continues to roll on, so Chad is our co-host for the evening. Sarah is in.
Right here.
She's right there in spirit, but on the physical plane, she's in Arizona. She will be back tomorrow. So, yeah. Before we bring our guest on, I didn't realize this until today. It's kind of ironic since Sarah isn't here, but this is the 7-year anniversary of when we posted our very first video on It's Bourbon Night. Yeah. Oh, hold for applause.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Should have queued a track for that.
Wait, I've got that.
Oh.
Yeah, hold on. It's not so effective when you have to go searching for it. Small crowd, but that's fine. We like to keep it intimate here. So yeah, 7 years ago today, we posted a teaser for our very first video, which came about a month or two later, which was, a teaser for 50 bourbons under $25, our very first episode. And of course, now we're doing 64 bourbons under $100 7 years later. So, evolution.
You'll have to let her know she screwed it up
Right.
for not being here. So.
Well, the bride-to-be. I'm going to write a
Yeah.
stern letter. No, they're having a great time. I wish them well. We're going to taste some picks. I know, picks have sort of been called the Ellies of today because they truly are
Limited.
more limited than a lot of LEs. You can get anywhere from, 50 to 250, and then when they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah. There's no barrel like it, so.
That's right. Yeah, so we're going to be tasting 4 here tonight, and to help us through the tasting is the person who facilitated the picking of these. So please welcome to the show. He is the president and founder of the Music City Bourbon Club. Welcome to the show, Jeremy Porter. Jeremy, welcome in.
Gentlemen, how we doing? Appreciate you having me on tonight.
Doing very well, thank you. Also, to let everybody at home, yes, there's a background that says what's in my glass. Haven't had a guest on since we did that What's in My Glass episode with another Porter, Matt Porter, and didn't realize it was back there, and I was like, how did I get that on there? I can't remember. I watched a YouTube video about it. It's what I did, so I couldn't figure out how to get it off. But it's germane, right? Because what's in my glass? Jeremy, what's in my glass? What are we starting with?
Well, I think the one you have poured right now that we talked about is the Old Elk Weeded that we did. This was a couple years ago. And by the way, congratulations on the 7 years. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Definitely awesome to be with you guys on the night of the 7 years. So that's going to be very memorable.
Auspicious occasion.
Yes. In your guys' glass tonight, first one, Old Elk Weeded. Have the bottle right here. It's got the kind of the custom logo on there. It's a 5-year, 5-year weeded. Came in at 118.6, and this was I was mentioning to you guys earlier. So MGP, Old Elk bought a ridiculous number of barrels from MGP, their weeded mash bill, in preparation or in them expecting to really use this as a staple in the Old Elk lineup going forward. And we got in on it when the getting was good, and this came out really, really good.
Nice. Okay. Well, we're going to take our first sip here, and while we let it sort of digest on the tongue, we got a couple of super chats, and they're actually both from Joey Tony Bag of Donuts.
Mr. Bag of Donuts.
And why aren't they coming on screen? There they are.
Yeah.
So cheers to you, Chad. Still Austin cast strength and a shot glass, cause I ain't got no Glen. Laughing cry emoji.
It's all right, Tony. We
Cheers
all make
emoji.
mistakes.
Cheers emoji. And then from Tony again, he says, "Huge congrats to the champ, squeaking by Dara with the quickness. It's my last night in San Antonio. Said goodbye to the kiddos. My niece and nephew are now on the same base in Barracks, 2 blocks apart. Base in Barracks. Sorry, I'm on the laptop again, so things are very small. Barracks, 2 blocks apart, both in medic training. What are barracks anyway? I was like, I'm just making up words here tonight. So, thank you, Joey Tony, for that, and for those who aren't familiar, why he's calling me the champ. I mean, just in general, every day.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm winning.
Every day, every morning I text you and say, "What's up, champ?"
What's up, champ? Yeah, I appreciate that. It's affirming. I was on Matt Madness last night, and no spoilers, but made it through to the semifinals in that competition. So I appreciate that. Tony, we'll give you a cheers, because the cowbell is still not in this room.
If you remember last time, you don't want me with a cowbell or a triangle.
That's true. Oh, and one more super chat.
Ooh.
Before we get into some tasty notes here, this is from Don Nishida. He says, "Congrats on your Madness round. #hardcore. Also excited to watch you eat haggis." Yeah, I'm excited to get down on some haggis. We're going to Scotland in a couple weeks, Jeremy. So
I believe you
that's what
mentioned that. Yeah,
haggis.
pretty excited.
Oh, and Kevin Weber with super chat. Nobody puts Sarah in a corner except little Sarah.
Little Sarah.
Yeah, she's right over there. So thank you all for those super chats. And here with the Old Elk Weeded. Yeah, I haven't had a whole lot of Old Elk experience. We got an Old Elk Weeded for one of the brackets. I think it was a 50 to 75 in the 64 under 100. And that's, besides having some barrel picks here and there, I think that's been about our only experience.
It's probably like my 3rd or 4th pour maybe ever of Old Elk. So,
was this your first pick at Old Elk, Jeremy, or
first pick
have you done others?
with this bourbon club? I had another one I ran in Michigan for a number of years, and we did a bourbon with them, but with MCBC is a abbreviation that a lot of the members use. Just easier to say in conversation. It's the abbreviation. So it's the first Old Elk that MCBC has done. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And a lot. I mean, as you probably know, Chad, a lot of bourbon drinkers are really into weeded, and that's been increasing over the years. Obviously all the Wellers and makers are weeded, but I just wanted something in the profile that really stood out and wasn't a run of the mill mash bill that everyone else is doing, and something that was just kind of bring some uniqueness. Especially the year that I released it. It was released during a year of a lot of high corn mash bills. So I wanted something to kind of just differentiate that.
Yeah. I'm getting. I don't want to turn into Mr. Nutty, but there is a different type of nuttiness.
there is, yeah.
Like a butter.
I was going to say almond butter.
Almond butter, yeah. Buttered popcorn, but more on the well done side of popcorn. Not burnt, because if there's anything I can't stand, it's burnt popcorn. So not burnt, but like, I think it's that almond butter thing you're talking about there. And what was the proof on this again?
118.6.
118.6?
Yep.
Yeah, it's given a nice
It's got a good hug.
Indiana hug right off the bat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Something I remember a lot about it was, once you take your second sip and your third, the hug is a little bit less intense, obviously, and it tends to soften out a little bit. But obviously, you're still going to know the proof with it being, just in those high teens, 120. Yeah.
So the ones that we are visiting tonight are these guys right here. So we're the third over from the left, the Old Elk. We will be trying all of these here tonight. And this is the back. So talk about the sticker there. What is that? What does that say on the Old Elk?
Happy Elk of July.
Happy Elk of July. Nice. I like it. I wonder if I can
Zoom it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going full screen. Maybe. Maybe not. Yeah. There we go.
7 years in, everybody.
Well, the high-tech streaming didn't come till
Yeah.
later. We have done over 200 lives. It's crazy.
That is nuts.
That's incredible. Wow.
Yeah. A lot of Sundays.
And I'm sure your bourbon there has experienced the increase of bottles from all those lives as well.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. So what do you remember from this pick? Was this an in-person pick? Did they send you 3 or 4 samples? How does an Old Elk pick go?
Well, because it's Fort Collins, we didn't go out there to do that. I would have loved to make a trip out of it and hotel the whole 9 yards. But in this case, we were sent, I believe it was 4 different samples. We were sent 4 wheated and I think 3 bourbon because we just, we knew we wanted to do the wheated. I knew I wanted to do it. But at that time, some really good cash strength bourbons were coming out of there as well. So I was like, you know what, send us some of those too. And if we have one that's just so memorable that, knocks our socks off, then maybe we'll go ahead and go with the bourbon. But, out of the 4 samples that was sent to us for the wheated, this one just, really stood out. But typically, yeah, I mean, when I do picks, I prefer to go to the distillery, go on site, bring a pick team with us, make a whole experience out of it. But unfortunately, especially during COVID and even post-COVID, a lot of distilleries are not allowing that now. They're still trying to just send you samples. So it's one of those things where you just, you follow what their preference is or, what their guidelines are. Because at the end of the day, our preference is to go to the distillery. But if they're only going to give us samples, then at the end of the day, I want to do that pick. So I'll take the samples and pick it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm trying to describe the nose. You got a good descriptor on the nose?
Yeah, I get like a ton of powdered sugar, sugar.
Powdered sugar, okay.
Nice fried dough. It's like a funnel cake.
Funnel cake?
Yeah, like fair time.
Boozy.
Elephant ear. Yeah, boozy
Boozy
funnel cake.
elephant ear.
Yeah, caramel
Yeah.
syrup on top, drizzle.
Okay, I like that note. I was sort of gonna say like, some bubble gum that has like the chalkiness.
Yeah.
That smell.
Yeah.
But I like the funnel cake elephant ear approach a lot better. It sounds better than chalkiness of gum.
Yeah, but if you know that note, that's a very like distinct.
Yeah. Baseball card, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That type of thing. So in the pantheon of these 4, Jeremy, where's the Old Elk kind of fall for you? If you remember, putting you on the spot here, but
For you mean for rating this out of these 4 picks?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Or is that like choose your favorite child? Is that not a fair question? I can strike it from the record.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's just every one of these is very unique to me as far as the journey that went on behind it, and the things beyond the things behind the scenes that nobody else sees that goes into a pick. Every one of them is different. I will say, to my knowledge, I'm trying to think back to when I started it. I think it's the first full wheat. I've done makers and things like that, but it's definitely the only Old Elk that we've done. And it just, I'm a big fan of them. I'm a big fan of MGP just in general. But as Chad was saying, Greg Metz was there for so long, and it was a fantastic master distiller, and just the company in general, I was always a fan of as far as the products, their quality, their staff, who I know quite a few folks that work for them, especially their local people here in Tennessee. Just was a fan of the company in general, so that meant a lot to me. But that year it was special because it was the only wheat that we did that year. So if you were to ask out of these four, it probably would be my second if I were to rate it.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Pretty high up.
I got him to pick.
Yeah.
It's
But
juicy.
again, the one I have to put
Good
for number
television.
4, I love it, so it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, well, and also there's such a wide variance in people's just their preference. Some people like nutty bourbon. Some people like rye. Some people don't like rye. We got some people in our Patreon group who's like, I'm not so big on rye, and we're always trying to prove them wrong with some great ryes. We actually have a rye dropping soon. I don't know if that's out there yet, so I shan't say anymore. But yeah, everyone's got preferences. So you'll rank them one way, someone else in the group will rank them another, and someone else another way. And I always love to say there's no wrong answers in whiskey, and that's the great thing about it. As long as people enjoy it, boom, that's what you're there for.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've not had much experience with Old Elk, but I like that.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely got its own place. I can't say, oh, this tastes just like, I wouldn't say it tastes like Makers or it tastes like Weller or.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely its own.
Even the Green River just came out with a wheated. It didn't taste anything like that. Like
No.
it's its own animal, which is always appreciated. Let's see. Got to keep my cleans and my used separated here.
I've got a system going on.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, come in. We're gonna pour up the next one, which will be the Blue Note uncut Frisky whiskey. And while we do that, Jeremy, tell us a little bit more about. See, I don't have the acronym down right. Music City Bourbon Club, MCBC. Tell us more about MCBC, how it got started, what you guys are all about, etc.
Yeah, so I will. And apparently there's some comments in the chat. Bunch of folks who don't know what they're talking about, and they're they don't have the facts straight. So anyway, I created this back in 2020, and it was intended to be a group of like-minded guys and women that enjoyed bourbon, enjoyed getting together and having social events. The barrel picking didn't come along until a little bit later, as soon as I got the opportunity to do so. But it was really a chance to just educate folks and be able to get together and have pours. A lot of folks came into the industry. They were novices and they had questions, and we didn't want to judge anybody for being new to it, and we were all inclusive. We took anybody in who wanted to come in. We tried to do it for the right reasons, tried to build relationships. And, sometimes that doesn't work out for you. No matter how good you try to do in the industry, no matter how good you try to do by people, how honest you are, how, you try to keep things above board. Someone's always going to, bring you down, and whether it's jealousy or whatever it may be. But that was the intention of the club from day one, is trying to do something unique that offered people, an outlet to come taste with us and to have some unique barrels, come to social events. We did a lot of charity events. I've done events out to the Nashville Sound Stadium here in Nashville. We did baseball games. We've done several things around town. We've done some charity work as well. We've donated to charities. So really just trying to do things the right way since day one. But obviously that's hard to do because somebody always has something to say. Somebody's always going to be a keyboard warrior. Someone's always going to sit behind a chair and spout things that they don't know what they're talking about. So, but we've tried very hard since day one to do things the right way, and that's the best you can do.
Okay. I'm sensing some behind the scenes drama that we're not privy to, which is fine. We don't have to get into that. We're just here to drink some whiskey. And we have moved on to the Blue Note. Let me put that up on screen. Oh, that's the looking for. Nope, that's wrong. That's wrong. Here we go. There we are. Yeah, second one from the left there, and its sticker is that guy who I've seen on TikTok. Right? He's Why?
Trevor something?
Yeah,
Trevor?
why he drinks why he drinks whiskey. It's
Trevor
really funny.
Wallace.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you are. Yeah, nice. So, is there a story behind that sticker?
It was when that um, he had a YouTube video that came out that had a lot of hits on it, and he was a comedian, obviously, but he did a 3.5 minute video, and it came out right at the time that we had picked the Blue Note, and it just matched. It was a hilarious video. Big fan of it. Kind of took that quote and put it on there. I actually had reached out to him I DM'd him on Instagram and asked him to come for a get together or a bottle share for samples of it to see, because he actually was coming through Nashville during that time. I don't know if he was TPAC or Ryman Auditorium. He was one of those venues around Nashville. Tried to get him to come by, but with him being so busy, we weren't able to make it work. But it was a unique time and a funny phrase to put on there.
Nice, nice. Well, we get recommended Blue Note like pretty regularly from people, and we've had a few picks. I think it was our Bardstown hunting video. We got the juke joint, which is not a pick, but is the uncut? Are they all picks? Does anyone here know?
I have no idea. This is my first tasting of Blue Note.
Okay, so they have like an on the shelf non-pick version of the uncut. Okay.
Yeah. Blue Note offers just on the shelf bourbon, but these obviously are different. BR Distilling, we actually went on site for this one. We went to Memphis and picked this one. This one was one of the surviving barrels from the O.Z. Tyler collapse in Owensboro, Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
So there was a lot of barrels that survived the collapse, and they sat outside in the elements for quite some time. This was one of the barrels from there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Nice. And what are we looking at proof on this guy?
This is a 116.5.
I went to talk at the same time I was taking a drink.
I just sabotaged Chad here. Yeah. Sorry, Jeremy. What'd you say the proof was?
116.5.
116.5. Okay. So it's actually a little bit lower than the Old Elk. I feel like it's got not more heat, but it's got maybe more presence in the proof department.
Definitely got more oak.
Yeah.
I had to look at that. That's why when I first took a sip, I couldn't remember if that was lower or higher proof whenever he was telling us before we got on here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, 116.5. I would have probably put it 120 plus, but it's got some good tannins to it.
It does. It's also got a really good mouthfeel.
Oily.
Yeah, it's very oily. Yeah, liking that about it. Yeah.
But I'm a big fan of Green River, so.
Right, yeah. That's really interesting. These are the ones that were out in the elements. You might not have a frame of reference here to really know, but do you attest them being out in the elements to, imparting different flavors or I don't want to say like rushing the maturation, but changing the maturation or anything?
Just to me, in my opinion, this is not a very common thing where you have to have barrels aged outside. They're obviously going to be in a covered warehouse, open air, non-climate controlled. But to me, with these barrels sitting out in the open like that and having direct sun contact, having all the elements, the rain, the cold, the hot, no shade, there's no roof over it. I think naturally that's going to change just the aging process in general, the expansion and contraction in the different temperatures. I would be interested to try, and there's a lot of barrels, a lot of different groups and stores have picked other surviving barrels as well. But I would be interested just to pick one or be able to sample a side by side of one that was a surviving barrel at 116.5, same proof, maybe next to one that was not, one that was maybe in a warehouse the entire time, just to see if you do have any flavor differences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It'd be interesting. I think the Barton collapse happened a little bit before that, right? Was Barton first, and then
Barton was,
and then Green River said, "Hey, let's do that too." I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, but first, before that was like what? Jim Beam? Then
Well,
yeah.
E.H. Taylor.
Well, okay.
Yeah. Warehouse C. Come on.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm liking this one a lot.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this.
Yeah, this is really good.
yeah. The oily that you had mentioned was one of the first things I picked out back when we picked it as well. I love the the full mouthfeel in it. I love how oily it felt. I love how it had almost a butteriness to it on the back palate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, this one's definitely got an oiliness going on.
Oilness.
Oilness. It's got an oilness. I am from Kentucky. Oil. Did you say oil?
Warsh.
Worsh. I can't let Worsh rag go. I just can't let that one slide. If that's can't do it. Can't do it.
That's what my mom says. Gotta wash some clothes.
But would she call a washcloth a Worsh rag?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Car wash, washer and dryer. Yeah.
Is she from Plattsburgh?
No, she's from Maysville.
Okay.
Yeah.
I used to work with someone from Plattsburgh, and she always said it that way. So, you know,
Well,
but
From where?
Whitesburg, Kentucky.
Whitesburg. Okay.
Whitesburg or Plattsburgh.
they say it like why, WHY.
Why? I don't know why. Why? Don't know. I'm actually going to save some of that. Not that we don't have a little bit left in there anyway.
I'm gonna do the
but
same because
I want to come back
That's good.
to that guy because I'm going to try to figure out my order too. Or maybe not my order, but at least my favorite of tonight. So Heaven's Door, staying in Tennessee here, but it's MGP, so you're just skipping Kentucky. You're just Tennessee, Indiana, skipping Kentucky. That's okay. That's
Yeah.
okay.
Well, that's just for these four. There's been quite a few that have came before and after this that were Kentucky.
Yeah. I kid.
But now the Heaven's Door on here, this one's pretty interesting too. This was right when Heaven's Door did a, I guess for lack of a better word, a contract. I'm not sure what to say, but they were doing MGP distillate.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you can't see it on that label, but I can hold up to the camera for you and show you that it's got distillation in Indiana, medium toast, independent stage, cooperage, char number 3, and it's a 75-21-4 mash bill. See if I can.
Okay, I think I've got that picture. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I love all the info they put on their labels.
Yeah, you gotta love the transparency. I mean, that's one thing that us whiskey drinkers always appreciate is that transparency. So I feel like a weatherman right now. There's a 75% chance of corn coming in from the east and a 21% of rye, which is going to mix with that 4% malt. And it's all going to end up in Indiana around 243.3. I don't know what that means. But it's an ISC barrel.
Rick level.
It's, don't tell me. It's a number 3 char, and it's a medium toast, folks. So keep that umbrella handy.
Yeah, this is
Bob
actually
Dylan made
the
this.
highest proof of these four.
Yeah, I seen that in the email. 122.9. So 123. We'll just say 123.
123. Yeah. If folks at home are wondering why we didn't save this one for last, we actually have a rye that we're going to do last. It's still, all 4 of these are barrel proof, but the rye is a little bit lower than this guy, but it's a rye, so. And it's a finished rye.
Rum finished.
So we're saving that one for last. I'm looking forward to that.
This does not nose like 123 proof.
No, it does not. The Angel Share.
Yeah, that's actually a very popular mural that's on a wall in Nashville.
Oh, yeah? Let's see.
Yeah,
there it is right there.
There's an area in Nashville called the Gulch, and there's a brick wall over there with that mural It's very popular. A lot of locals and tourists get photos in front of it. Very, very Instagram worthy.
Yeah. I hurt my gulch once riding a bike,
Oh my god.
but I'm okay now. Thank you. I'll keep you around. You're
Yeah.
good. Laugh at the jokes. Oh, yeah, that's a buttery nose
That is buttery.
too. That is a buttery nose.
This is like barrel proof, like creme brulee and cheesecake. I don't know why cheesecake, but for some reason I'm getting like that. I don't know, like that.
Woo.
It hits like 123.
It does in a good way.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
I haven't had a pour of this in a little bit. I saved it for tonight to have with you guys, but it definitely reminded
Nice.
me of when we picked it that it makes its proof known, and it continues to do so.
So we got a OG Brick 420 saying Heaven Door does some of their own distilling now, so they have a distillery. Now I wonder how old their oldest stuff is. That's interesting.
I know that if you look, because of the transparency, you can look on the side of the label, and the majority of them will say distilled or distillation was Tennessee. So I was I'm happy and a fan of them being transparent as well, sharing all the information on the side of it there.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this day and age, you got people like Bardstown Bourbon Company who's just going full transparency, and other people following suit. I think it's great.
Yeah. Anytime that I can know the mash bill, at least the mash bill,
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Mash bill, age, just as a measuring stick, any info that you can get. Hey, we got our Aussie friends here, first time in a while. It's great to see you guys, Chris and Lil. Welcome in, and just a reminder, folks, if you like your ride, tip your guy, give us a little thumbs up there, if and you like. Apparently we might be having a little bit of discourse in the chat, which is always good, but one of our mods here just reminding people to please be respectable, and we encourage that as well. It's whiskey, folks. Brings people together.
It's all about fun.
It is.
It's all about fun.
Isn't it?
It's supposed to, right? Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we got into it.
Yeah. That's why we're friends.
You said it's because my name was Chad.
You said it's because my name is Chad.
Well,
Yeah.
I didn't lie.
Did you guys coordinate the color family?
I knew this. I told you before we got on. I knew this was going to be
There's
it.
going to be others saying that beer night or baseball cap night. So I figured, well, did you guys coordinate? I mean, Chad, Burgundy, Brown.
Yeah. No, it's just maybe we're starting to share a brain. I don't know. I would like to say this is more of a rust color, and that would be what I would call a maroon.
Yeah.
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 So this shirt, by the way, is our newest edition at whiskeyambitions.com. Is where you can get this. Previously, we had this design in a sort of like a navy or dark gray long sleeve. Now we have it in a short sleeve in this color. So that's now up on the site as of today.
And I wore this for Joseph Brezo.
Oh,
Yeah.
There you go. Washington. Yeah.
Actually, not really, but I knew he would appreciate it.
Okay. I'm sure. Swan is going to get his ball cap and a red shirt. So then we'll have maroon, rust, and red.
Grow a beard.
Grow a beard, Swan. Grow a beard. Oh, flat bill, Swan. Bill, Swan. Yeah, good one, Scott. Yeah, I'm glad I saved the Blue Note. I mean, I've liked all of these so far, but
Yes.
I think they might be getting better. I don't know. I'm gonna have to A/B test it against that Blue Note here, but this is really my profile here in this Heaven's Door.
Yeah, the Heaven's Door, I get that similar oiliness in the middle of it that the Blue Note had, but I think once you get to the back end with that proof coming in, sometimes it almost overpowers your the tasting you would get on the finish. I mean, you definitely get the hug for sure. But at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, I wanted to have a true cask strength, powerful bourbon that has that great mash bill that was memorable and something that you could put on a rock as well. A lot of our members like a rock in their bourbon, or even just a few drops of cold water to open it up. And this is one of those bourbons that, because of the proof, I don't feel like that if you put one ice cube or even a big rock on it, you're going to water it down to the point where it's going to drastically change the profile because of how high the proof is.
Yeah. I saw recently, I forget the company, not sponsored obviously, but they make this clear ice, and it's in sort of imagine a small gold brick, like that type of form factor, but smaller, that can fit down in a Glencairn.
Oh.
Yeah, I forget the name of it. I was served like a TikTok ad or something, and
Say that again.
it's sort of the dimensions of a gold brick, but scaled down, maybe a third or a fourth, and it's clear ice that can actually go in a Glencairn. So it would kind of stick up like a straw would. So it'll be slow melting for slower dilution, and you can still use a Glencairn and get a little bit of gradual water released. So
I'd love to see that.
yeah, I might have to order some of those. I want to actually, now I'm thinking about it, I want to say it was a Kickstarter campaign. It's already been like well overfunded, but it still had some early bird deals. And why didn't I just go ahead and order it? I don't know. I was like, I'll remember this for later.
Anytime you get served an ad on Instagram or TikTok, man, just buy it.
Just buy it.
Just buy it.
Just buy it. That's how I got one of those little projectors that's like this big. It's like, oh, that's so cool.
720p this far away.
No, I think it was 1080. I don't remember. It wasn't 4K.
720p.
Definitely not 4K.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
That brings me
Remember when they
back.
used to make TVs that only went to 720p? Like, yeah, it's HD.
That's
It's
my
720p.
My bedroom TV is 720p,
Oh, man.
and I've had it for 13 years.
Well, I would hope you've had it for 13 years. 720p.
God, that reminds me of you see the movie Grown Ups?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adam Sandler's kids, they see the old school TV in before flat screen,
CRT.
and he said, Dad, he said, where's the rest of the TV? He goes, what is this? And he's like, he said, what is this box coming out of the back of the TV? And he was like, that's the rest of the TV, son.
That's the rest of the TV, son.
Yeah, I remember going over to a friend's house and seeing a 36-inch CRT TV for the first time, because we had like a 27-inch was the max at our house.
Damn.
And what?
Bragging over here.
Come on. But I went over and saw a 36-inch, and I was like, that thing is huge, and it probably weighed 400 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah, they were super, super heavy.
You remember back when if you had a 50-inch or a 55-inch TV, even if it was like a what were they called?
Projector.
No, not a rear projector. A Samsung came out with it first.
Plasma.
It wasn't plasma.
At this point, it's just
It was in between that time of CRTs, the crappy rear projection big screens, and plasmas. It was like I can't remember what it was called. It was like 14 or 15 inches deep. So they're like, it's so thin.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
I can't think of it. I had a Mitsubishi 50-inch, but that's back when I sold TVs, so I got a good employee discount. But do you remember when, like, if you had a 50-inch TV, it was impressive?
Yeah.
When people came over, like, oh, you take watching TV and movies seriously. You've got a big screen. It was called a big screen. Now they're just called TVs.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway.
that's because. I mean, like, you had a 20? What'd you say, 27-inch?
27-inch.
Yeah, we had like a 12-inch in our living room, so we would sit on the floor as a family, and we would push the VHS into the bottom of the TV.
Oh, a combo. Now
Yeah.
someone's bragging.
That's what-
you had an
that's what we
all-in-one.
had. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's
But
an
it's set
MGP.
on top of our old TV that was broken and didn't work.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's what it was like on my
As a
grandmother's.
reminder, like, you know, we
You had
could have had this.
Yeah, you had the floor console that was broken.
Right.
And then you had the new TV sitting on the floor console, now acting as a TV stand.
Yes.
Good times. Anyway.
That's the days where you had to sit really close to the TV to see it.
Yeah, and they would say, "You're going to ruin your eyes."
I would sit like this.
Oh, God. You know what's ironic? Is now people still do that. And I don't mean to offend anyone who has an LCD TV over your fireplace. But now a lot of people are doing the same thing because, you know, it's like up there.
Trying to relive the glory days of playing the video games at Walmart. You know.
I don't know. I just like an eye level viewing experience. So no shade to anyone who has it over their mantle.
No shit.
No shade.
How's your TV mounted?
Oh, don't ask him that.
He's gonna say above the fireplace.
I know.
Well, it depends on which room or what level of the house.
You have two TVs? Back to the Future. No one has two TVs.
Great quote. Yeah. The
must
one
be
in
rich.
this room that I'm in, my bourbon room, I've got it on a large, entertainment stand with a surround sound and Blu-ray and all that. And then downstairs, I have it mounted above the fireplace, above the man.
Don't you?
And then in all the bedrooms, and all the bedrooms are mounted on the wall just to save space.
Yeah. Well, let me just take my foot out of my mouth here.
Yeah.
Well, no, after this conversation, they're coming off the wall and going on a stand.
All right. See, I own stock in TV stands, so
Yeah, he owns about $3,000 in particle board.
yeah. So we are on to our fourth one here, which is the where are we?
The first
oh
one.
yeah, the first one, the Bone Snapper Rye Whiskey, which here is the sticker. Right to there. Oh, I'm not zooming in. Why am I not zooming in? Well, that's as zoomed as it wants me. Suppose. So was this picked around Christmas time, I'm gathering, from the sticker?
Yes. Yeah, this was Christmas of, let's see, I think it was 2021.
Good job, Sherlock.
Came out, it just happened to come in at a very, very right in the nick of time, I would say, no pun intended.
Right in the Saint nick of time.
Right in the same nick of time, yeah. It came in, I don't know, probably second week of December. And we just, we wanted something holiday in a glass, and we really thought that accomplished it. This is probably one of my favorites. I would say top 3, just because of the uniqueness to it. It's not a ridiculous amount of age or anything, but my personal opinion is you don't have to have a large aged bourbon to have it be a very quality bourbon. So, but yeah, this one was about 3.5 years or so in the original barrel, and then 13 months in a Colombian rum barrel. And as I've had to say many times before, that's Colombia as in the Caribbean, not Columbia, Tennessee.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 13 months in that rum cask. Caribbean toasted Christmas. I don't think I've had a lot of experience with Bone Snapper either. Have you?
Some.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I've not had a lot of experience with Backbone in general, but I've had some of their older stuff, their old 10 years and some 7-year picks and stuff, but not a 3.5-year rum finish.
Right.
Yeah.
Are they the ones that do Old Bones?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do an Old Bones 10, Old Bones 15. They've got a Bone Snapper uncut, unfiltered. And they also do the Decade Down. They do the light whiskey.
Yeah. Yeah, do you know, was this a barely legal rye? Was this like a 95.5? Do you have any of that information?
95.5. Yep.
95.5. Okay. That's, I mean,
So, true.
I was going to say,
true,
you know,
yeah, true rye.
yeah, sometimes I'm in the mood for 95.5. You know, I want that effervescence, pine needles, whatever you want to call it. You know, just the eucalyptus that some of the 95.5s can bring. But it seems like more often than not, I like a finished rum nowadays. It kind of takes that and quells it down a little bit. You still get the 95.5, but the finishing barrel, you know, sort of just
Yeah.
imparts those other flavors, which makes it a little bit more or less heavy, unlike the pine, the effervescence, the spearmint, and
Yes.
that's what this is doing. Quite a hug, quite a hug. I'm on top of a mountain. Yeah, sciences feel great right now.
And you're really, really close to the Old Elk proof. You're only 0.2 difference. The Old Elk was 116. I'm sorry, 118.6, and the Bone Snapper is 118.8.
Would not say that blind.
Exactly. Yep.
Wow.
No.
And I was a big fan of this,
I,
as you were saying, Chad. I was a fan of this because I get in the mood for a rye as well, especially when it's chilly out, Christmas time, winter time. That's a great time for rye. A nice warming whiskey.
Yep.
But I was like, how do we do something that's unique and that has a cool finishing component to it that softens it at the back and doesn't make it so harsh? And as you were saying, a lot of folks who try to give rye a chance don't like the mint they get from it. They don't like they just don't like kind of the earthiness that comes from a rye sometimes, with it being such a laborious process to make. And so I'm like, well, geez, one of the sweetest spirits out there is a rum. So let's do something in a rum barrel and kind of soften it up a little bit.
Yeah. For sure. I am enjoying that.
Yeah, I'm a big fan, which I know I've said about all of these so far, but they're all kind of like my
He's
first.
just reading off the teleprompter. It says,
Yeah,
I'm a
yeah,
big
yeah.
fan. That's the only thing it says. It got stuck.
Scroll.
Damn
but
it.
no, I mean, like, this is my first experience with most of these, or like of this type, but this is, I mean, fruitcake, rum soaked fruitcake.
Which is also very holiday centric. Yeah, and also the fireplace. It's in my chest right now.
With your TV above it?
Oh, callback. That's what we call a callback. So in this case, my face would be the TV.
That's right.
Yeah, there is a nice fireplace with stockings hung with care.
The quote you put up on the screen from one of your listeners, believe it was Jerry Scheel. He's a longtime member of MCBC. He has told me many times, pours that we've had together that is definitely one of his favorites. I think it just agrees with his palate really well.
Nice. Okay, yeah. I don't think I've seen you in here before, Jerry, or if you have, sorry if I've missed you, but welcome.
Welcome.
And welcome to anyone else who is new here from the MCBC. Why can't I remember that? It's so easy.
Just remember McBick.
McBick. MCBC. Yeah. Now this, if I was comparing it to the other three, this sort of is going to sit on its own because
it's different.
It's a rye.
Well, I mean, like, it's very different.
It's very different. So I don't know if I could say necessarily I like it more or less than these other three because it's so other category. But I do like it. I can say that.
I think that was the goal that year. 2021 was a good year for us. I think it was a weird year in hospitality in general because it was what everybody kind of called the COVID hangover year. More and more places were opening and things were normalizing a little bit, but it's still a lot of folks were still working remotely and some distilleries weren't even open. I mean, you couldn't go to Michter's. They were very conservative on doing tours over there in Louisville. So we wanted to. I wanted to bring a uniqueness to the end of the year to cap it off and really, have something, as you said, unique and an outlier that didn't play into the rest. And I think that we definitely achieved that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean I feel like you sort of touched on it, but when you are doing a pick, do you have a basic what would you call it?
Profile.
Yeah, profile or like, do you have a mission statement as it is as to what you're trying to get? Because some people will be like, I want to pick the most off the wall thing that they have, or the thing that just jumps out of the glass.
That would be me.
And others are like, I want it to taste exactly what's in the bottle, and there's everywhere in between. Do you generally have a game plan for your picks, or is it completely dependent
just
upon
what
the pick?
speaks to you that day?
Yeah.
I would say it's probably a couple different tiers. The first tier of it is, generally speaking, I mean, obviously between us three, I'm sure we've had thousands of different whiskeys and bourbons in our life, and when I go and do a pick, I will have already had a very good idea of what their kind of flagship shelf bourbon tastes like. What they kind of cut their teeth on, or built the company on. Just like with Old Elk, their everyday Old Elk bourbon, everyday Heaven's Door. And my number one thing is I want the pick to be very different, very unique, and kind of on its own from that everyday flagship shelf bourbon. I want it to be memorable. I want it to be something that a lot of other people are going to enjoy, not just me. So I have to take into consideration that maybe my palate gravitates towards one type of taste profile or one type of mash bill or proof or whatever it may be. But what is going to be, I guess, marketable to the masses? I'm a big fan of finishes. My personal opinion is, after 17 years or so in whiskey, I want a bourbon or just a whiskey in general. I don't care if it's Scotch or high rye or whatever it is. I want it to beg me to take a second sip. I want it to be memorable, and I want it to, I want to like look down at it. Like, you ever had a pour of bourbon in a Glen, and it sits down, and you sitting there, and you're taking in your profile and your palate, and you swallow it, and then you kind of like look at it, and you're like, yeah, I definitely want to sip you again. Like that's kind of that was kind of what the finish is a big part of it. So I want something full bodied. I want it oily. I want a big mouth feel on it. I want a little bit of a hug, but I want it to be memorable. I want the finish to last. I don't want it to be thin and go away. And then also, I may be a fan of like funkiness. So we all know that a lot of Dusties have just a whole different. It's just a whole different game. I mean, when you
Dusty funk,
taste,
yeah.
oh my god, when you taste a true turkey Dusty or even a Jack Dusty, or I mean, it's just a whole different ball game. And I think more discerned palates, people who have been doing it a long time, will probably appreciate that more than somebody who hasn't. And so I don't necessarily want something that's going to be grandma's attic, funky, very moist type tasting. Because even though that's nice to have as an outlier and it's nice to change things up, is that going to appeal to a mass audience? Is it going to appeal to novice drinkers? Likely not. So that's kind of my thought process with trying to pick them. And then the last tier would be, my preference is to go to a distillery. My preference is to bring 4, 5, 6 people with me who have decent palates, who can discern taste profiles. And I want to go into a barrel house, and I want to walk through there, and I want to pick. I want to say, hey, I want barrel 1664. I want barrel B562, or whatever it may be. And they literally can pull those exact barrels down for me. But that is an absolute perfect world, and that is like that's my utopia.
Sure, that's your dream date.
that doesn't happen. If you are lucky enough to go on site and do a pick somewhere, they usually have your person who facilitates it, or if you're lucky enough to have the master distiller with you, they have picked 3, 4, 5 barrels or whatever that they think differ enough to give you a good indication or a vast array of choices, and then you can pick from there. So you're still on site and you're still having that experience, but you're not physically going into the warehouse and telling them which barrels to bring down.
Yeah. I now have realized I've never described anything as moist. So that's now a goal. I'll be like, hey, it's moist.
Well, a lot of people don't like that word. So.
It's divisive. I always am reminded of when I was just sort of getting into whiskey, I've been into it for maybe just a couple years. And one of my buddies went on a pick at Woodford Reserve. He wasn't into bourbon at all, but his buddies were, and the person leading the tasting said, "Oh, I'm getting bubble gum," and he came back and was like, "You won't believe what this person said. They said they got bubble gum in it." And at the time, I hadn't experienced that, so I was like, "Huh, yeah, that is kind of funny. I don't think I've gotten that." Then a year goes by, and I'm like, "Oh shit, bubble gum!" So I had to be like, "Hey, guess what I just got?" And I think it wasn't a Brown-Forman product too. And now I get it.
Like that juicy fruit bubble gum,
Yeah.
or it's like bubble tape juicy fruit.
Oh, I've gotten both. Fruit by the foot.
That's not bubble gum, but okay.
It
That's
is fruit by the, or not fruit by the foot, not fruit by the foot.
Fruit by the foot is
Are you
Bubble
thinking
tape. Bubble tape is the one. Bubble tape. Bubble
yeah,
tape.
the one I said.
The one you said. A Chad said it, so it's fine.
Yeah.
You can't forget Big League Chew either.
Big League Chew,
Yes.
right?
That's usually the one like I lean to because I was dumb
They
as a
still
kid.
make that? They
don't
don't
know.
make that anymore, right?
I feel like it's something you only find at Family Dollar.
With the Big League
And they
Chew.
haven't made it in 5 years.
Yeah. Do they still make
I
it?
saw,
No
I saw
way.
it today.
Oh.
Wow.
So like I remember green apple, which was great. Grape,
Yep.
which was not great. And then original, which sucked. So always go for the green apple.
You're too young to actually
Dip.
dip. So it's like, here, kids, it's bubble gum in the form of dip.
Yeah.
So I didn't think there was any way they still make candy cigarettes.
Yeah. Well, okay. So they're in the same boxes, but they don't say candy cigarettes anymore. It's like candy sticks.
Candy sticks.
Yeah.
That are the same length
Yeah,
and
I
width
mean,
of a cigarette.
Yeah, and it's in the same like maroon box, the gold dime. Just go to Cracker Barrel. All these things
Oh
are
my
probably
God.
sold at Cracker Barrel.
Well, there you go. I haven't been to Cracker Barrel in a minute.
So those I've not seen at like grocery stores and whatnot, but I if you go to these weird candy stores, you know, like we just got back from a cruise in February, and they always have these candy stores on the cruise ships, and it's all the unique candies that you grew up on, you know, that you knew that you might have had when you were, you know, 10, 11 years old, and things that you haven't seen in 20 years that you assumed were discontinued, and then all of a sudden you walk in the store and it's just nothing but a sugar rush of kids, and you're looking around and you're very nostalgic, you know, you're looking, oh, I ate that when I was a teenager, you know, whatever. But I know that they're out there, but I've not seen the candy sticks anywhere. But I did see Big League Chew today, and as Chad too said, the original did suck, and but I did see it today in Kroger. I was getting some groceries, and I said, well, look at that, they're still making it.
Wow. Who knew?
No, it's the fact that no one bought it. Like it's still the same stuff from the 90s. It's just no one's bought it yet.
It probably is from the, yeah,
That's
exactly.
what-
It's from the 90s. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, Lewis Black always had this joke. It's like, you know, they've never made new candy corn. All the candy corn that you buy today is from 1968, and they just keep putting that shit back in bags.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
no doubt.
Because
Because it's got a shelf life of
Forever.
infinity.
It's wax. I mean,
Yeah. Whew. All right. So for me, I'm taking the rye out of contention because it's different. I'm really focusing on
All right, well, I will do the
the
same.
middle two, the Blue Note and the Heaven's Door. And I'm going to try to crown.
That's where I
Same?
was at. Yeah, but I'm going to.
Well, 2 out of 2 Chads agree.
But I'm gonna be fair. Bring in the Old Elk.
Make
I
sure
mean, I
you guys
would,
empty-
but I finished it.
make sure you guys empty those sample bottles too.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I'll make sure you get some. You choose your winner, and I'll send you some more.
I'm liking that. On nose, I've given it to Heaven's Door. But we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Were these all roughly around the same price, or what was? Do you remember like what was the most expensive
I would
of
say
these?
pretty close. Yeah. Old Elk probably was the most, just because they're. I mean, I'm pretty sure
They're
Old
kind of
Elk.
pricey.
Old Elk's shelf weeder is like $80,
Yeah, like
74.99.
80 or 90. Yeah.
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 So That was probably the most, and the Blue Note was very reasonable in my opinion. So was the Heaven's Door, to be honest. Um, the Caribbean Toasted Christmas Bone Snapper was probably, as far as price, the second, with Old Elk being first. Just because I think Bone Snapper increases the cost a little bit more when you do finishes and when you do picks versus just their
Absolutely.
flagship stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They got to pay for that
And
secondary barrel.
Right.
that's kind of a difficult part too. Of picking is people will say, "Hey, why is this price on the shelf, and why is it this?" And you're going by the MSRP that comes out from your distillery, and then you have your distributor, and then you have your markup by your retail store. So there's going to be a process that goes on through all that.
Yeah, everybody's got to get a piece. Okay, I have. Oh, welcome, Sarah.
Yeah,
To
I'm trying to make Mr. Todd happy.
I see little Sarah. Nobody puts little Sarah in the corner. Move her to the middle of the picture. I agree. Here. How about the true middle?
Well, now you cut her head off.
There.
Is Hot Toddy one of your admins?
He is, yes.
Okay,
He has
cool.
blue wrench powers. Yes. He even has his own theme song. Hot Toddy. Yeah.
I figured it'd be like an air traffic control.
Well, I have decided what my favorite of the evening is. Have you?
I have.
Okay.
I was keeping it to myself.
Well, how about this? So we both say we're between these two, right?
Yes.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. You're gonna put a hand over the one that you choose.
Okay.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Well, that was a really slow hand, but
Well, I didn't know if you were like.
you could look.
No, I was looking that way, so I didn't want to like hit you. But yeah, I'm leaning towards the Blue Note.
Yeah, Blue Note. Yeah, okay. So that's our favorite of the.
Yeah, I enjoy them all, but the Blue Note just kind of like spoke to me.
And it's weird because as we were going up, when I got to that Heaven's Door, I was like, "Ooh, I think this is the one." But then I was A/B testing, and there's something about the Blue Note, maybe a little more perception of age. I have no idea if it is older, and that's not even really that important. But it had the perception of a little bit more age, a little bit more oak, which I like. It was also a little bit more approachable, a little bit easier. Things I enjoyed about the Heaven's Door was sort of that punch and that great hug. But I guess, at the end of the night, you've been drinking a lot. Sometimes you can then favor something that's maybe a little bit
I'll tell you what made me.
more approachable.
There's a note on this that kind of threw me for a loop. Whenever we went back to it after sitting for a minute, I got like on the nose as well. Almost an agave note.
Agave.
Yeah. So I mean, it was
Okay.
kind of like sweet, minty, earthy, citrusy note, and I'm a tequila fan, so
All right.
I went with it.
Doesn't
So
matter how you
my,
got there. You go.
Unfortunately, my internet never does this. I just got fiber optics installed last month, and I love it. And unfortunately, for the first time today, it cut off right as you guys said 1, 2, 3, and put your hand over it, and it cut off. So I never got to see what you guys go.
The Blue Note.
Yeah, juke joint.
Yeah.
Oh,
the juke
so
joint.
it's unanimous then. Okay.
Or the uncut. I don't know if it's juke joint. It's just uncut. The Frisky Whiskey. Yeah.
Yes. So if you look here, here's the bottle.
Yeah.
So it is juke joint, but
It is juke joint. Okay.
Yeah. So they make a kind of flagship shelf that's not uncut, so it's not cast strength.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the one we got in Bardstown. So yeah, I think we're gonna have to try to see if we can get a Blue Note pick on our radar. Make sure our club is down for that, but I think they would be. And
It would definitely be
yeah.
one that you want to go to Memphis for. They're very very hospitable there, fantastic staff. They have no problem you going on site and doing it, which just obviously makes for a much better experience than having samples sent to you.
Yeah, for sure. We like doing that too when we can, especially when we can bring along some patrons and have them help. In your all's club, is it a democracy? Is it everyone votes and that's the winning barrel, or is it like people vote but you still have that if you're like, I appreciate it, but it's got to be this one. How's it work with you
mean
guys?
for which barrel is chosen?
Uh-huh.
They put numbers in a
So
shoebox. And yeah.
it's, first, obviously, it's me trying to curate and facilitate the which pick we're doing. As you know, obviously with being so successful with its bourbon night, relationships are a big part of the industry and trying to build those and build contacts and friendships in the industry. And over the last so many years, I've been able to do that with a lot of distilleries and distributors and things like that. So once you find an opportunity to go do a pick, how I do it is the members that have been with MCBC since day one. A lot of them have joined, new over time. I create a Google Doc spreadsheet, and when you buy swag like our, the hats I make, or the Nike polos, or the long sleeve Callaways, or anything, even our glassware, you get a point. When you come to one of our social events, you get a point. When you go in on the picks and you go to the liquor store that we partner with, and you buy, say, 2 bottles, you get 2 points. So those things accumulate over time, and it kind of entices or incentivizes members to be more active in the club. And then as you get higher and higher in points, when a pick comes, I go to my master spreadsheet. I go from top to bottom, most points to least points, and then whoever's next up to go with me. If the distillery says, hey, we're going to allow 6 folks, then it's probably going to be 5 and me. So I'll pick the next 5 people who have the most points, who have been the most active, people who have been the most, they involve themselves. They come to social events. They post to the page. They're just supportive in general. To me, they deserve to go on a pick and have that experience, because that is their reward for supporting the vision and the overall growth of the club.
Mm-hmm. But when it's time to pick the barrel, say you're between 5 barrels, do you do by vote? Who votes barrel A? Who votes barrel B, C, D, whatever? And
Yep.
the most votes wins the pick? That's it?
It would be, yeah, it would be a situation like, say, for instance, we have 5 barrels. We try to narrow it down to 2, kind of like what you guys just did with the last 2 you picked. Once we get down to 2, I hope in general that the majority, if I pick, say we narrow down to 2 of them, and we have A and B, and I'm an A, I'm thinking if the majority is A, then we're good to go. We're going to pick that. But if we get down to a split decision, and it won't be a full split, because I like to bring an odd number of folks on picks. I never want to have an even, because if you have 6 guys, you might have a 3-3 type thing. If it's if it's odd, if it's, say, 7 guys, and I'm in the 3 and they're in the 4, I'm generally going to pick the 3, because I want to be able to stand behind it, and I want to be able to tell everybody a very accurate description on the flavor profile, and I want to be able to have it be, as I said earlier, appeal to the masses.
Right on. Okay. Very good. I don't know if anyone in the chat has any more questions for Jeremy, or Chad, if you do, or
There was
anything?
somebody I saw up there. I was looking at the comments. There was, I think, Raging Irishman had a question a little bit a while back.
Yeah. Let's see if we can find Ray.
I wish I've never been the guy who's been like creative with like social media. It's always like my name in some sort. So it's like everything that I do has Chad in it. I wish I would have done. It's like,
Raging Irishman?
yes. Yeah. Don't even know my heritage. But.
Oh, and by the way, Chad, I'm so jealous that you and Sarah are going to Scotland. That's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good time.
We're gonna have some fun. I don't know, but I've gone far back enough where Hot Toddy's asking if you heard moist. Yes. Oh wait. Question. Where would you like to do a pick that you haven't yet had the opportunity? There it is.
I knew it was something like that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, see, that's the thing is, there's so many brands that don't offer it. So many distilleries that don't offer it. I mean, if I could, if it was a perfect world, I'd love to go do a blood oath. But it's just not one of those things where they're gonna let you do that. I'd love to go do a Joseph Magnus cigar blend. That'd be fantastic.
They used to.
But
Mm,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I would say just
yeah.
in general, if I were to pick kind of an everyday, let me look over here, just an everyday bourbon. Um, I would love to do a turkey, to be honest. I mean, if I could get say for instance, you could do like a rare breed or like a really good solid, wild turkey rye. I'd love to go and do that, or even a Russell's. I've seen
Mm-hmm.
several groups throughout, Tennessee, Kentucky, even a lot of West Coast groups are able to go to Turkey and do a Russell's pick, and I've been a fan of them for a long time. Love what Jimmy Nutty you did and are doing, and that would be amazing to do that. The Russell's picks I see around Nashville that come to the stores, they go quick. I mean, when they
Yeah,
announce that on social media, I'm sure even in Kentucky with you guys, when a store releases a Russell's pick, it's pretty quick.
absolutely. Yeah, our last pick was actually that was released was a Russell's pick, and it was I didn't get to go because at the time of the pick I had COVID, but
Oh
it is
no.
delicious, delicious. And then we also they got to pick a Kentucky Spirit, which has not come out yet, but is very soon. Yeah, yeah. So
Are
that'd be
these
nice. But
picks that
yeah,
you do through it's Bourbon Night, or are you doing them through a separate club or company that you have, or how are you guys doing yours?
yeah, it's Bourbon Night Picks, and it's released through our Patreon community.
Okay.
So we have a tier system there, and that's how we distribute the picks. But yeah, I was sort of when Raging Irishman asked that question, I was sort of thinking of Distillery, but I like how you took it to expressions. I would love to do a William Heaven Hill pick.
Oh, all right.
Well, yeah,
Just
yeah, yeah.
like pick of the litter at Heaven Hill and call it a William Heaven Hill. Yeah, I'd like to do that at barrel strength. 11 to 14 years, 15 years, something like that. Yes.
Well, I
That'd
saw
be
you
Cool.
and
cool.
I mean,
you guys did. I think you had the entire 2022 BTAC lineup sent to you
Mm.
from Sazerac or somebody over there to sample. So with that said, I'm just going to go ahead and do a William LaRue Weller barrel pick here pretty soon.
Yeah, that would be nice.
yeah,
I'd,
12-year barrel strength.
I would
Give it
take
to me right
a
now.
George C. Stagg pick also. That'd be
Yeah,
cool. That'd
they,
be
they
all
give us
right.
that.
Yeah, while we're at it, give me one of those Eagle Rare 17s I've been hearing about. Yeah,
Might as well take a handy while you're at it. Thomas H. Thomas H.
yeah.
Don't get excited.
Now, speaking of that,
Um,
have you guys seen what they're doing with the single barrel select through Buffalo Trace now? The how they changed up the process.
yeah, we actually went to the first like drawing that they
Oh,
had.
you
They
were
were
there.
live streaming it. Yeah, they were live streaming it. They had
Front row.
the two barrels, and a couple there actually got their number drawn. It was incredible odds. We didn't get picked, unfortunately, but it is happening more often, so there is better chances of getting a Buffalo Trace pick. Of course, that's a distillery that we have not. I've been on a Buffalo Trace pick, but it wasn't for us. It was with another company,
Got it.
and that was also several years ago. So obviously, a Buffalo Trace pick would be amazing.
I can mark that one as done.
Yeah,
Or are
we've
you a
been on
fan,
one.
Yeah.
are you a fan in general of how they're changing the process from basically, logging in 7 or 8 hours before and having them randomize it to going to a point system? Are
Yeah,
both of you
the digital
a fan of this?
queue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more fair this way. You can earn more points, basically, and there's more chance of it. So, yeah, I mean, I got to applaud them for trying. I mean, they don't have to do anything. They're going to
No,
have
I mean,
all of their picks always filled up. So the fact that they're doing this is a little bit of a concession for the bourbon community to try to make things a little bit easier. So I applaud them for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great idea. I mean, I thought me and my 9 points were going to go somewhere this year, but we didn't. No.
Yeah, if they wanted me to like subscribe to magazine subscriptions to get more points, I'd do that. Like, what do we do with Home and Gardens? 15 subscriptions to Home and Garden.
Dentist Weekly.
Yeah. But I would do it. I would do it if it helped my chances.
If you were a liquor store, they would just tell you to buy, 74 cases of Wheatley vodka. Then
Wheatley vodka and Fireball. Yeah.
Yeah.
That whole thing, I was just listening to a podcast that was sort of talking about that, Bourbon Pursuit, which I think apparently is illegal for them to do that. The whole 3-tier. I'm not accusing Buffalo Trace here. They were more like the distributors, the 3-tier system and all this, and
it varies by state.
Yeah.
So
there are laws by state.
Yeah.
It makes sense because it's sort of like, hey, if you can buy 50 cases, you'll get it for... Oh, that's what it was. It was the pricing. You'll get it for this price. It's sort of like you buy in bulk, you get a lower price. You buy more T-shirts, you get usually a lower price. Like
you go to Costco, you buy toilet paper, you get a lower price.
Right. If you buy in bulk, you get a lower price. But apparently in some states that's illegal. So whether you buy 1 case or 100 cases, it's supposed to be you're getting those bottles for the exact same price as everyone else. And that's more to like protect your mom and pop stores that aren't your giant big box stores. So that's, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how we got there, but
you guys are in Bardstown, right?
We're in Lexington.
You're in Lexington, okay. So
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
many different rules, different red tape, different hoops to jump through being in Kentucky.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Worst allocated state
ever. Barrel tax like other states don't have, and it's a wonder we have any distilleries.
Which blows my mind that you're the most regulated state, being that I would say, I mean, this is a topic of discussion among a lot of people, a lot of aficionados, but the majority of the world's bourbon, obviously, the vast majority comes from your state. And in my opinion, the best bourbon comes from your state. So it's amazing to me that it's the most regulated. And then whenever I drive, I'm from Michigan originally, and whenever I drive back up to see family and I go through Ohio, for some reason, I don't know why this is, I've asked several of my buddies who work in distribution, but why is it when I drive through Ohio and I stop off at random stores, there is a what I consider a ridiculous number of Weller bottles just available on the floor in these stores in Ohio. And I'm like, you're in Lexington, you're within what, I guess an hour and a half or whatever of Frankfurt, and you can't
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
30 minutes. So you can't get a Weller 107 or a 12 to save your life. But when you walk into Ohio, they've got 15 cases of 107 stacked up on an end cap by the beer or whatever it is they got going on there. So
it just goes into like what Chad was talking about. So like Ohio's ABC state, alcohol beverage controlled. So the state buys it all, and it goes like 3 distribution centers. And because they're one account. So like that state is one account. So they're allocated on a one account basis, and then they distribute that out to their subsets because the state actually owns all the stores. So that's why. And then other states are the same. And then you got Kentucky, which is kind of a free-for-all, where you could own a liquor store, I can own 10, Chad can own 30, and then we all just duke it out over pricing later.
I like this analogy. I want 30 liquor stores.
I do not.
Well,
I do not.
I want the buying power of 30 liquor stores.
Well, okay.
Yeah. I'll buy all that Wheatley vodka. Just give me some B-Tech.
And that's how some places operate.
Yeah.
Kroger.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love you, Chris, if you're watching.
Yeah, it's the whole 3-tier thing, the different laws in different states. I mean, who can keep up? It can be a big headache. I don't know.
That's why there's good things out there like what we tasted tonight.
I am very
right.
All these good options.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing these with us. Well, I appreciate you sharing them with me. He didn't share you
I
didn't share this with me.
You appreciate me. No, this. Yeah. Thanks for sending these. I probably should have opened the show with this. We ran into each other at Whiskey Live last year down in Nashville. And that's when we talked about doing this. And then, fast forward to me dropping the ball several times on actually getting something scheduled. Again, I apologize for that. But glad that we got it on the books. And these were all 4 really excellent picks. Definitely have my favorite and this rye, which is in its own category. And the funny thing is, not funny, it's actually tragic, but it got colder today, which after you feel like it's spring and you can taste summer coming along, and then it's a cold day, ruins my mood.
I know I had a nosebleed today.
Oh, jeez.
What the heck was that about?
Yeah.
Cold weather.
I was a little depressed all day because I was like, I had to put on a heavy coat now.
It looked like it was 6 p.m. all day.
Yeah. So actually this rye is sort of perfect. I'm back to where I actually need a fireplace in the chest. But anyway.
We've seen that too. We had 3 days of that,
Yeah, it's...
I remember that day at Whiskey Live. Sorry, I had followed you guys for so long and watched probably at least 1,000 videos over the course of what you said. You've had It's Bourbon Night for 3 years, roughly. Has it been
7?
So 3 years since I started following. Sorry.
Yeah.
My move from Michigan to here, brought on a lot more awareness, I guess. But I remember seeing you and Sarah from across the room. I was actually there with Barrel Bourbon. A good buddy of mine, Ned Anderson, works with them, and then Joe Beatrice. Yep, Joe Beatrice, the owner over there. We were kind of there supporting them and being over there. And I saw you guys over at the Bardstown Bourbon booth talking to Ryan Woody.
Danny Bardstown.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah.
Ryan Woody, love that guy. And I said, that is Chad and Sarah. I was like, I got to go over. I probably never see him again. I got to go over and say hi to them and tell them how much I support what you guys are doing. And I take the chance now to let you guys know that, your content is spot on. It's honest. It's raw. And I don't see a lot of married couples out here that are doing what you guys are doing. And I really wish that we had more females in my group. As we all know, females, inherently just have a much more sensitive palate than men do. I think that would be a big service to the whiskey industry to have more females involved in this, and the candor that Sarah shows and all the funny things that she says. I think you guys add a really cool spin to this industry. And anyway, I don't want to filibuster on you, but I really support what you guys are doing.
No.
And, I think it's an important part of the business. You have a very large following. I think I saw on YouTube, you're easily over 100,000 now. So just, hats off to you guys for what you're doing. This is a community. Whiskey is supposed to be a community. It's supposed to be people that are here to support each other and not bring each other down. So what you're doing matters, and hats off to what your accomplishments are. And I wish you, success in the future for sure.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Jeremy. Really, really appreciate that. And we're really glad that you did come over and say hey. It was great to meet you, and tonight's been really fun, and I really enjoyed all of these picks here. Best of luck to your club. I don't know. You think she's going to be a bobblehead, but
I know. Every time I tap it, I'm like, it's a bobblehead. It's not a bobblehead.
No, she stands sturdy. And
look like one. I got to see.
Yeah, future success and all your upcoming picks that you're doing, and I hope you do get to pick your WLW whenever they start doing that in 2032.
Listen, you got enough money. I'm sure they can make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
If you wouldn't mind, Jeremy, let people know.
I'm for the Russells for now.
Yeah, there you go. How they can find your club or follow, join, anything else that you have going on, how people can follow you guys.
Sure. I believe Scott earlier in the chat had put the Instagram on there. He may have even put the
I totally
website
missed it.
too. But I do have a web. Sure, no, it's okay. I do have a website. It's just the name of the club. So musiccitybourbon.club.com. And then the majority of our
There it
members
is.
or followers go through Facebook and Instagram. The Facebook is a private group, so it is closed right now. You have to be invited by another member. Just because, as you guys know, I mean, whiskey's heavily regulated, and you have to keep the trust where it belongs, and so that's private for right now. And then the Instagram should be public. You just request to follow. The website's a good place to go to for announcements and for just the overall vision of the club, the history of myself who got into the industry, like I said, about 17 years ago, just doing hospitality, entertainment. I DJ'd for a very long time and wanted to move into this business. So those are the three things that you can look into. We try to keep it as local as possible, at least in Tennessee. So Knoxville, Chattanooga, Nashville. We do have some members that are out of state. A lot of those members do business around Tennessee, so they're able to come to our social gatherings. Um, and I actually have an event coming up that I've not announced yet to the group. I know it's probably difficult for you and Sarah to make it, but as I mentioned earlier, I do an event every year out to the Nashville Sound Stadium. That's the AAA baseball team we have here in Nashville. They are the farm team they've moved around quite a bit. They used to be the Brewers, and they were with the Rangers for a while. I'm not sure who they are now, but very fun stadium. We've got a field suite behind home plate on July 7th. We're going to have an event there. It's going to be a bunch of like-minded bourbon drinkers, all members. We're going to have some media there and whatnot. It's going to be a great night to get together for a baseball game and to share some pours, share some stories, get to know each other, and remember that a big reason why we do this is the camaraderie and the friendship that comes with it. So I'll send you some more info on it later, but it'd be a great event for anybody in the club to come out to.
Very cool. Yeah, that
Oh,
sounds
yeah.
great. Sounds great. Well, Jeremy, again, we appreciate you joining us, and Chad, I appreciate you being the co-host for the evening.
Chad, I appreciate you letting me be the co-host for the evening.
I'm going to try to get Watson to try to stick with you. You should be known as Watson. So, I mean, it sounds cool. It's very Sherlock.
Yeah, I kind of gave you a silver platter earlier where I said, good job, or something Sherlock, and I expect a Watson joke in return.
Oh,
Yeah,
I totally missed it.
You did.
Totally
Yeah,
missed it,
yeah,
Watson.
yeah.
I'm sure a Sherlock then. But Jeremy, thanks for joining us, and look forward to hopefully getting to try some more of y'all's club's picks in the future.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Absolutely. Now that I know that you've liked the Blue Note, I'll see about getting some more out to you, and then I'll try to get an extra one to you for Sarah to try.
Well, we got this much left, so I can save that for Sarah. Yeah, she gets back tomorrow.
I assume that Chad Squared polished it off.
No, I'm being generous tonight and letting her try some of what's left.
Yeah, completely.
Sure.
There is
I'll
a heart.
keep you in the loop
Yeah.
about everything for sure.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it. All right. Well, thanks so much, Jeremy, once again, and hope to run into you down the road, hopefully at another whiskey festival.
For sure. Yep, I appreciate having me on tonight, guys. Cheers.
All right. Thanks so much.
Cheers.
See you, Jeremy. All right. Well, that's fun.
That was fun.
Yeah, those were good.
Good times.
Those were good. Yeah, definitely that juke joint, that Blue Note.
Yeah, that
is,
one.
is some good stuff. I definitely want to try
Um,
to get a pick of that going now, because I've had enough of it to where, and I've liked it all. So it's like, that's sort of our rule, and I know I've said this before, but like if we're considering trying to do a pick with somebody, we have to have a pick from someone else that we enjoy.
Right.
And definitely had enough of the Blue Note stuff to know that we're on board.
Has there been anyone local to us to do a pick?
There's got to have been.
I mean, like we can have it total wine.
Really?
So, yeah.
I mean, I would have to imagine like Ernie's or Unlimited or.
I could see Unlimited. Yeah.
I mean, Liquor Barn? I don't know.
I mean, yeah. If anyone's gonna have it, it would be Liquor Barn.
But I feel like you know, someone like Ernie's or Unlimited around here have to have done one.
I've not been to Unlimited since 2018. Since I
Wow.
left Walmart. Yeah.
Okay. There's also probably got to be some whiskey tubers who've done it. Not that we have their bottles. I know Woo Drew. He's got a buddy with the liquor store down there in Georgia, and I've had some of his Blue Note, I believe. He shared with us, and it was real good too. Hey, we got a super chat here from Tony. If we had a triangle, it's triangle worthy. But Tony says, thanks for a great night. Thank you for the super chat, Tony. Appreciate it, and we'll be seeing you soon. Yeah. Don't give away your honey holes. I don't think honey holes exist anymore in Lexington.
Those are not a thing now. Yeah.
I mean, for good store picks, maybe, sure, but like allocated stuff, the stuff that people go to honey holes for. You got any Blantons? You got any Wellers?
What's sad is anymore is I send people to get store picks for me, so I can't tell you the last time. Perry, Jackson's supposed to pick. I'm like, Perry, go get this for me, because he's closer. I'm not.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
it's a convenience thing. He
Yeah.
goes, he gets one, I get one. It's nice.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah. Maybe even that store. What's that store called over there? High Acres.
yeah, that's changed hands now. So
Is it not called that anymore?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Local stuff, folks. Sorry.
Yeah.
Local stuff. Pay no mind. Wow. Well, we've definitely done some overtime. Yeah. Thanks for hanging in, and thanks for hanging in with you guys.
I had some Wendy's before I came over, so I'm prepped.
All right. And Brett's saying, yes, get a juke joint pick. All of them I've had have been great.
I mean, Green River, man. Green River.
Green River. Green River is a place for me. Bourbon drinking is a life for me. I don't know. All right, folks. Thanks so much. You know what? We will see you next Sunday. I believe it is going to be for some different type of whiskey drinking. Getting prepped for that trip
For
we're
Scotland.
doing. Yeah. So definitely tune in if you want to see some faces. Sarah will be back here in the seat. Thanks again, Chad. Oh. Spread your shit.
At My Daily Bourbon.
Yes.
Instagram.
On Instagram at My Daily Bourbon. Follow him. Get ready to see this face on a Bourbon Night video coming out here pretty soon. And Sarah and I will see you next Sunday. What music did I come in with? I think it was this one.
Funky.
Yeah. Until then, drink more bourbon.